What music they make. Metal.
Sejam bem-vindos a mais um podcast de Metal Global. Hoje a conversa é com Harald Barrett, guitarrista dos Imminence. Antes da conversa com Harald Barrett, não quero mais lembrar que tem a versão rádio exclusivo na RTP Play. É passar por lá e procurar por Metal Global. Os Imminence são a prova viva de que o peso atmosférico e o violino clássico não só combinam, como criam uma tempestade perfeita. Os suecos Imminence estão oficialmente de volta e acabam de abrir o capítulo mais ambicioso da sua carreira. A banda assinou com a Sumerian Records e o cartão de visita desta nova era chama-se The Sword That Never Bends e é o novo single da banda sueca. Depois do sucesso do último álbum, The Black, este novo single dita ao ritmo de uma era que promete expandir as fronteiras da sua identidade sonora e, claro, do seu impacto internacional. E a melhor parte é que não vou ter que esperar muito para os ver ao vivo. Os Imminence aterram em Portugal já este domingo para abrir o palco do festival Viva Live. Antes de subirem ao palco, eu estive à conversa com o guitarrista da banda. Aqui fica a conversa com Harald Barrett.
Hi.
Hello, Harald.
Hi. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you. I'm sorry for being. Yeah. How are you?
Everything is good. How are you?
I'm fine. I am recovering. I'm recovering. We had a bit of a rough tour here from Australia directly into European festivals. I have been a little bit ill for a couple of days, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better.
I saw you guys at Tons of Rock in Norway. You didn't seem that sick.
Oh, no. I mean, it was okay. Funny thing is, though, that we flew in the same morning. We flew in from Australia. We landed at 7:30, and then we played at like 2:45 or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was something. That was really something.
I was the Australian tour for you guys. How did you go for Imminence?
It went well. It went great, actually. So we have been quite frequent in Australia in a very short amount of time. You know, we came to the first time in December 2024. We went there again in October 2025, and now again in June, which is actually very much considering that it's the other end of the world. And I guess bands are not that frequent in that territory, but it's become a great market for us. And this time we didn't go as a headliner. We played with a band called I Prevail. We opened for them, and that was great, really. Could tell that we played in front of a lot of new people, but for sure we had also an audience there. But I could tell that, you know, we were exposed to a new crowd, and it really seemed like they enjoyed what they saw. So that was fantastic, definitely.
Cool. And, Tons of Rock in Norway, you guys played after Copenhagen as well. How was those two festivals for you?
No, it was awesome. Being able to come back now to Europe and play, like, we don't have a new album or anything like that. We played a new song live, so it feels great to be able to return and do something new. And performing in front of or on these two festivals have been great. Tons of Rock I thought it would be even worse, like in terms of like exhaustion, and it would feel more challenging than it already did. But it wasn't too bad, actually. I was actually surprised, considering that we played kind of early and we never done a festival in Norway. Like how many people there were, because it was packed. You know, it was a lot of people there.
Yeah,
and Copenhagen was great. And Copenhagen was great as well. Really close to home. You know, we live in Malmö, most of us, so it's just across the water. So that was really nice. And then we finished that weekend. We played Jera open air in Netherlands, and that was also fine, but it was excruciatingly hot. I think we had more than 40 degrees that day, so that was really bad.
Yeah, the heat wave is coming to Portugal now. Like in Norway, for me, it was like, normal. The weather was really warm, for the 4 days of the festival. And, I got this tan, and I'm like, what's happening? I come to a Scandinavian country and I get a tan. It was great. It was crazy, but it was great. And, let's talk about you guys release a new single, The Sword That Never Bends. It is the beginning of a new album that's coming out soon, or it's going to take a while for that new album to see the light of day?
I mean, we haven't really announced anything about a new album, but of course there is a new album coming. I think we can do that and kind of like ease into the big news and big announcements, but nothing is yet official. But I think you can tell by the format of how the song is released, in terms of like the storyline and the video and everything, that this is the first chapter. This is the first chapter, and we are going to see a development of this. We're going to see the next steps fairly soon, at least, and exactly what that is, I'm not going to tell you really, but for sure it's the first, it's the opening scene of what is to come here.
Cool. And the latest studio record from Imminence was self-released. Now you guys have signed in with a label again. What are the pros and cons of, first of all, self-releasing a record?
Well, I think from our position where we were at the time, it definitely felt like it was the right choice to do. Like, we are a very self-sustainable band, and we have always kind of been in charge of every front of the band's activities, on stage and behind the scenes. I think we are very good at that, and I think it's. All artists operate differently, but I believe that it has been necessary for us to do so over all the years that we have been doing all this, and we felt at the time that we were ready to actually just kind of do all this on our own and get similar results as if we would have worked with a label. And I think we did. I think we even got better results than we actually thought, to be honest, which was wonderful and was a great surprise. So we experienced a very, very heavy growth in quite a short amount of time, to be honest. Over the past 2.5 years, the Black came out in 2024. And looking at where we are right now, it's a huge difference. And I believe at this point where we are at, it might be manageable to do it ourselves. But if we want to kind of step up again, we're going to need more, let's say, boots on the ground. Like, we're going to need a bigger team, a bigger network, more power behind us, because it's getting, at this point, kind of not too big for us to handle, but big enough for us to actually need a strong partner on board again. Yeah. And we believe that Sumerian is the right partner for that.
Yeah. But one of the things that fans will, always worry about is when you sign with a label after you're doing like a self-release record, are they going to cave in? Are they going to, sell out to the big corporation? But as I was saying, you guys always had very much in control of what Imminence is all about. Videos, music. Can you assure the fans it's going to stay the same way?
In terms of what... let me say it like this here. First of all, I don't think a record label today would approach an artist who's been having a career for 10, 12, 15 years or whatever, and is doing something that works. Like, if somebody's doing something that works, that is appreciated, and that fans connect with, like, if they can do that on their own, the record label is not looking for changing anything. This is like finding your diamond in the rocks, If you have that, if you're coming from that perspective as a record label, you scored. This is what they are looking for. And I believe we are an artist like that, actually. And in terms of what we want to do as a band is to always try to expand what Imminence can be. And if you're looking through our discography, I believe you have always seen a change and a development through every release that we have done. And every single process has been led by the band, especially me and Eddie, who are writing the music. And we have full control and full influence in like the musical, the creative aspect in terms of the music and in terms of the videos and whatever there is, you know, down to the artwork and down to like anything that is delivered to the fans will come directly from us.
Yeah.
That's it, you know. And then it might not sound like the last album. The last album didn't sound like the album before that, and the album before that didn't sound like the album that blah blah blah, you know. And I think that is a necessity for us, because if we just wanted to write the Black #2, I mean, what would be the point, really?
Yeah.
I mean, then they will kind of kill the fun for us, really.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is, you know, a lot of fans don't understand that, you know, as an artist, you need to evolve and you need to expand, as you were saying. But, you know, I see a lot of fans that they don't understand that side of an artist, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like they're selling out, when it's not the case. When you guys, is just a natural evolution. As you were saying, the first record is different from the second is different from the third, and I'm sure in 10 years' time you're going to sound different from the Black.
Yeah, I mean, of course we are. And I always think it's I don't know, I believe that people who have the perspective of like, oh well, they're selling out, I don't know, like it's not like you cannot just add a formula to your music and then it's all of a sudden it's going to be, you know, successful. You know, it nobody knows what the next thing is going to be, really. And just because you happen to make it more or less commercial doesn't mean that it is the right step for you to take, you know. If anybody would have known that, if anybody would have known, like, okay, yeah, I know exactly how to write a song that is commercially successful, everybody would have done exactly this. But that's not how it really works, you know. And I believe the only thing you can do is just to kind of try to expand what you are, like, what is your essence, what is your music and your artistic direction taking you, and as long as you do that, who can say what is right or wrong, you know? I mean, people can like or dislike, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And you're playing Portugal on Sunday. For those who are going to be there and never seen Imminence live, what can they expect from Imminence live show?
Well, they can expect from Imminence live show, I mean, I think what we're trying to do really is to try to, I think over the last 2 years, since a lot really happened for our band, we have spent a lot of time thinking about, like, well, what is it that Imminence represents? Like, what is kind of Imminence trademarks, if you understand, you know, what separates us from a lot of peers today. And when you're playing a festival, you kind of have a short amount of time to present yourself. So what we're looking for essentially is to try to give you as much Imminence as possible in a very, very small format. We only have, 30, 40 minutes or something like this, as opposed to playing 2 hours on a headline show, right? So every song that we will perform and everything we do on the stage is a representation of, like, this is how we want you to perceive Imminence for the first time. This is what we do, this is what we look like, what we sound like, and this is the best representation of our band.
Yeah. And you know, on this tour, since 2026, you guys have Adam from Vola on drums. Is he going to? I mean, I never. For me, it's always hard to ask a question like this. Is it just going to be for the live shows? You might join the band. What is the drummer situation at the moment with Imminence?
So we don't have a fifth member at the moment. We don't have a drummer in the band. Adam is a friend. He's a fantastic drummer, also Swedish guy. And he is helping us out. He was kind enough to play with us in Athens recently. He was kind enough to help us out to play drums in the music video. At the moment, there are nothing official in terms of like who is the new drummer of Imminence or so, and nothing decided.
Yeah. So he's going to stay like this until, things change, if they change.
Pretty much, yeah. I think so. At this point, we have the band Imminence is 4 members, but obviously drums is a core part of our ensemble, and until we find a new drummer, this will be the case. But for now, nothing is decided or official.
Yeah, you're working well as it is, and what happens. And another good news that came out recently: you guys are going to tour with August Burns Red early next year. You guys excited? I know you're a big fan of August Burns Red. You put a photo with a T-shirt when you were a bit younger. So is a dream come true for you and for the band?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say definitely. I mean, it's. If there would ever be a few acts, that I would love to tour with, the first one has actually already happened, and that was in 2022. One of my most influential acts has been In Flames, and we were welcome to go out as a support act to them in a few years ago. And the other act for me that has been maybe the most influential for me as a metal musician has been August Burns Red, because I listened so much to them during the time when the Constellations album and Leveler album came out. I went to their shows here when I was a kid, when they came to play around here in Malmö, southern Sweden, where I live. And for them to actually, be excited of coming out and being our special guests on our next European tour is a huge milestone. It's an enormous milestone, and it's really one of those kind of full circle moments that kind of doesn't really feel like those things just don't really happen. They happen for a reason, if you see what I mean. So it's remarkable. It's a great honor. It's a great honor for us, and definitely for me personally.
Yeah, and you guys are going to tour later in the year. You're going to tour the US. You're going to bring Portuguese band Carreira on tour along with the Dying Wish. You guys looking forward for that as well? Have you listened much to Carreira, by the way, and their music?
Yeah, absolutely. We were so happy that they wanted to come out with us. I think Carreira is definitely one of the most exciting acts right now. We have listened a lot to their music, and quite recently I got familiar with them, but I think when we all found them, we were like, this band is going places. They're awesome. And Dying Wish as well. It's a fantastic band. And I think it's really cool how these two acts are sort of, I think they are complementing different parts of what Imminence is. And I think they are definitely building the full picture of that tour, and I think that the whole spectrum is going to be very, very great. And it's awesome to be able to come back to the States again and have these two bands with us and some new material to play again. And yeah, that's super exciting.
Cool. And you were mentioning August Burns Red and In Flames as two bands that influenced you. What made you want to be a guitar player in the first place?
Wow. The first thing that made me want to be a guitar player is probably seeing Paul Stanley smashing his electric guitar pieces on stage. I listened. I wasn't introduced to this whole rock metal world until I was maybe 13, 14 years old. I started hanging out with some people, like some kids in my class, to listen to this kind of music. And I fell in love with it. It was completely different to anything I had ever previously listened to or, even been introduced to, because nobody I knew was listening to that music. And I had a friend when I was 13 or 14, and after school we used to go to his place, and he had an acoustic guitar just standing kind of in a corner being dusty, and he showed me how to play like Smoke on the Water, and I remember one string like that. And every time I went to his house, I would just sit with his guitar and play, and it was like the best thing in the world, the best feeling ever. So I convinced my mother to buy me like a cheap acoustic guitar at a grocery store. Actually, it was the first one that I got, and then I just played. I just played because it was such an incredible way for me to, I don't know, express myself, and it was a feeling like nothing else.
Yeah.
And then my first inspirations was more classic rock, and Kiss was a whole spectacle. I listened a lot to Kiss in the early days, and I think it was a whole visual thing also.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that and being able to do that and like look like you're completely, like you're the king of the world, like you're just fearless, and you can actually, you could do that at the same time as you're just performing your music. It was huge for me.
Yeah. And, being Kiss, that kind of influence, you kind of bring that to the stage as well with your presence. I mean, when we're watching Imminence live, you have a way of presenting yourself on stage that it's very hard not to take the eyes off the stage. And for the whole band, when I saw you guys at Tons of Rock, I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is awesome. And it's important for a band, as well as the music, to be good, to have a good presentation live.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. What is a good representation? I mean, I think it's about how you connect with your music. Like, you can go watch a band that don't really do much, and they have just this kind of presence, and they're like, if you go watch a band like Meshuggah, for example, you don't want somebody to act like Freddie Mercury or Paul Stanley or like myself. When you're going to see a band like that, they have another kind of integrity and another kind of like impact on stage by not doing that much, but just kind of performing the music, and that is impressive.
Yeah.
But for me, I think when it comes to Imminence music, I think it's, first of all, it's quite theatrical. And I think it's very emotional in that sense. And emotional doesn't need to mean depressive. Emotional can just be an emotional content. And I believe, like, when I'm on stage, me personally, I don't use only my guitar. I use my full body as my instrument in that sense to express what the music feels like to me. And on stage I can be that character who is maybe different compared to me as a private person. I can be a character that is very expressive, that is fearless, and a character who is a bit too much sometimes, but still kind of does it with a lot of confidence. And so far, if people like it or not, it's up to them. But so far, it has seemed like, I don't know, like people acknowledge it and they appreciate my stage presence. Yeah. And I try not to think. I try just to kind of act and release when I'm performing live.
Yeah, for me, one of the things when I see an artist is to see them having fun and confidence while they're on stage. When I did theater play in school, I was terrified. I realized the stage is not for me, at least in that type of play. But I understand that you can be something on that stage that you are not, behind the scenes. Can be a different person. And I can admire a person that is able to go on stage and be like an animal in a way that can show confidence and dominate the stage. And I think that's what you guys do, and you do that particularly well. And, I appreciate that. Besides the music being great, for me, having a great visual show is also very important. when I look for a performer, for a band, and for an artist.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I mean, that is what I can believe, like, also the reason why people go to watch shows. It's not just to experience and watch the music live, but it's to see the people behind it and see them being with full confidence in the right element, And I think that can be inspiring. It's inspiring to see somebody who is doing what they love and feeling that, feeling that somebody is like projecting all their passion onto an audience, and just can act without fear, with full confidence. And that can inspire like anybody who stands in the audience to be like that as well. When they need to, they can call on exactly that same feeling because they can see someone else doing it. And if they can do that, well, I can also, I can conquer my fears and I can come over my obstacles in life. Yeah. And that is what I want to project to people.
Yeah, and you do that quite well. And, Imminence was, one of the highlights for me at Tons of Rock this year. I really enjoyed the festival, and I'm looking forward to see you guys in Lisbon on Sunday. You guys are going to open Eva Live, so the advice I have for people is go early. You don't want to miss Imminence Live.
Thank you very much.
Right, Harald, thank you very much for your time. All the best for Imminence. Looking forward for the continuation for the sword that never bends, and what comes up next music-wise for Imminence. But first and foremost, Lisbon, I'm looking forward to see you guys live. So everybody, show up early. It's worth it.
I hope so. Looking forward.
All right, Harald, thank you very much. Have a great day, and see you in Lisbon on Sunday. All right? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Metal Global foi conversa com Harald Barrett, guitarrista dos suecos Imminence. A banda atua em Portugal este domingo no festival Eva Live. Cheguem cedo, vai ser concerto a não perder. Já sabem que tem a versão rádio, a versão com música deste programa exclusivo na RTP Play. É passar por lá e procurar por Metal Global. Se tiverem dúvidas ou sugestões, podem enviar e-mail jorge.botas@rtp.pt. Visitem o site metalglobal.pt e sigam-me no Twitter e Instagram @mountainking. Façam like na página do Facebook do Metal Global e, claro, se estão a ouvir esta versão em Apple Podcasts, Spotify ou YouTube Music, subscrevam para não perder nenhum episódio. Eu volto no próximo programa. Um forte abraço.
Children of the night, you will live through the centuries to come, as I have lived. Good night. Good night.